For 24 years, one man held his own daughter captive in a hidden basement, controlling every hour of her life, fathering 7 children in complete isolation. While his family and neighbors lived just feet above them. His name was Josef Fritzl, a man seen by neighbors as an ordinary husband and father, will go down as one of the darkest criminals in modern history. On April 27, 2008, Austrian police announced they had uncovered one of the most horrifying crimes in European history. Josef Fritzl, a 73-year-old engineer from the town of Amstetten, had kept his daughter Elisabeth locked in a secret underground cellar since 1984. During that time, she gave birth to 7 children, all fathered by her captor. 3 of those children lived their entire lives underground, never seeing daylight until they were rescued. Investigators, journalists, and psychologists all agreed. This was not just a case of abduction. It was a calculated long-term crime committed by someone hiding in plain sight.
I thought, I cannot believe it. This can't be true. This can't be true. It's a monstrous case because it's the own father who did this to his daughter, to his own flesh and blood.
Josef Fritzl was born in 1935 and raised during a turbulent time in Austrian history. His father abandoned the family early on, and he was raised by a reportedly domineering mother. As a young man, Fritzl studied electrical engineering and appeared to build a conventional life, marrying a woman named Rosemarie and fathering 7 children. But in 1967, cracks began to show. Fritzl was convicted of assaulting a woman and served time in prison. After his release, his criminal record was wiped clean under Austrian law, and he returned home as if nothing had happened. He blended back into society and began building the framework for a horrific double life. Elisabeth Fritzl, Josef's 4th child, was quiet and reserved. In 1984, shortly after turning 18, she disappeared. Josef claimed she had run away to join a religious cult. To support the lie, he produced a handwritten letter, supposedly from Elisabeth, asking the family not to search for her. Police briefly investigated but had no reason to suspect otherwise. They accepted the story. So did the community. What no one knew was that Elisabeth had never left the property. She was being held in a hidden, windowless room, directly beneath the family home. Over the years, Fritzl had obtained permits to expand the basement of his house, claiming he needed storage space. But behind reinforced doors and coded locks, he constructed a concealed cellar, accessible only to him. When Elisabeth entered the basement on August 28, 1984, under the pretense of helping install a door, she was overpowered and locked inside. The space was cramped, with low ceilings and no natural light. It would become her world for the next 24 years. During her captivity, Elisabeth gave birth to 7 children. 1 died shortly after birth. Of the remaining 6, 3 were kept underground with her, raised in the dark, isolated from society. The other 3 were brought upstairs and raised by Fritzl and his wife, as if they had been abandoned by Elisabeth. Fritzl maintained his lie by claiming Elisabeth had left the children on their doorstep with notes. Rosemarie, Josef's wife, believed these stories and cared for the children. Authorities, schools, and neighbors all accepted the odd situation. No one looked deeper. While a normal family existed upstairs, another family remained hidden in total isolation beneath the same roof. In April 2008, everything changed. Elisabeth's eldest child, a 19-year-old girl named Kirsten, became critically ill. After days of pressure from Elisabeth, Fritzl agreed to take Kirsten to a hospital, but he refused to explain where she had come from or who her mother was. Doctors were alarmed by the girl's condition and baffled by the lack of medical history. They made a public appeal for the girl's mother to come forward. Fritzl allowed Elisabeth to visit the hospital under the condition that she maintain the story. But after 24 years in captivity, Elisabeth saw a chance, and she took it. On April 26, 2008, Elisabeth was brought to the hospital. There, after speaking with medical staff and gaining their trust, she quietly revealed the truth. She told them everything about the basement, the captivity, the children, and the man who had controlled her life since she was a teenager. Police acted immediately. Fritzl was arrested. A search of the house revealed the hidden cellar, just as Elisabeth had described. Inside, officers found the 3 remaining underground children, pale, confused, and overwhelmed by the outside world. After nearly a quarter century, the nightmare was finally over. In March 2009, Josef Fritzl stood trial for his crimes. He was charged with murder by negligence, enslavement, false imprisonment, and multiple counts of abuse. At first, he pleaded not guilty, but when Elisabeth testified in court, facing him directly, Fritzl broke down and confessed. He was sentenced to life in a secure psychiatric facility. His home was later demolished, and the cellar was sealed off permanently. Elisabeth and her children were given new identities and relocated to a protected location. She has chosen to live privately, far from the media spotlight.
Fritzl had been guilty of appalling abuse and the murder by neglect of a baby boy. Even his lawyer appears to have run out of defenses for a man regarded by so many as a monster.
It is justice, and when you think that normally for one rape you get in Austria punishment started up from 2 years, and in this case are 3,000 rapes, and you can see that this is, of course, the only sentence that is possible.
The case of Josef Fritzl is one of the most shocking examples of long-term captivity in modern history. He lived a double life, respected by some, feared by others, while committing unimaginable crimes beneath his own home. But more than a story of evil, this is a story of survival. Against all odds, Elisabeth held on, for herself and for her children. And when the moment came, she found the strength to escape and expose the truth.